am reading Chapter 5, Best Drumstick Ever, of At the Bangles House by Aunt Teresa. Every once in a while, Daddy and Mommy Bangle had a serious talk that was almost an argument about the black tin box on the top shelf of their clothes closet. Mother Bangle would say, "But I don't think it's safe there. What if the house should catch fire? What if robbers should break in and steal it?" And Daddy Bangle would answer, "I just can't see paying $4.50 a year for a lock box in a bank for a little bit of junk such as we have." And right then Mother Bangle's back would get real stiff and her eyes would get real angry looking, and she would say, "Don't call my heirloom junk. It's the only valuable thing we have." Daddy Bangle always softened his voice at this point and said, "You're right, dear. We'll never be really broke as long as we have the diamond. But even for that, I can't see paying $4.50 for a strong box in the bank." And there the argument would end. Billy Bangle wasn't too interested in the diamond in the black tin box, but Patty Bangle's eyes sparkled every time she saw it or heard it talked about. It was a pretty ring with a real diamond in it. It had belonged to Mother Bangle's grandmother. She would be Patty's great-grandmother. A duchess had given it to Patty's great-grandmother when she was a little girl. No matter how often the story was told, Patty sat with her eyes fixed on her mother's face as she heard, "And your great-grandmother, who was only 12 years old, rushed out and grabbed the rearing horse and saved the life of the little Duke. His mother, the Duchess, was so happy and grateful that she called your great-grandmother to the big castle on the hill and gave her this very ring. Great-grandmother gave it to my grandmother. My grandmother gave it to my mother, and my mother gave it to me. Someday I shall give it to you." Patty told the girls she played with about the ring and how someday it would belong to her, and how she could wear it. All the girls believed Patty and were happy that she had such a beautiful treasure. That is, they believed Patty until Joan came to live in the ranch house in the next block. One day when Patty talked about her ring, Joan said, "If you really and truly have a ring, why don't you wear it? I don't believe you have any old ring, and neither does Marilyn or Jerry Lou or Susan or anyone else." "Mom," said Patty that night, "Joan is mean. Joan is mean as she can be. She says I don't have a ring. Please let me wear great-grandmother's ring just once so she can see I really have one." "No, indeed," replied Mother Bangle emphatically. "It's a valuable ring, and I don't think you should have it until you graduate from high school." "That's years and years and years from now," thought Patty Bangle. If Joan hadn't teased about the ring again, Patty would have forgotten it. But every time Joan got angry at Patty, she would mention the ring. Finally, Patty made up her mind she just had to wear the ring to show Joan, no matter what Mother said. Patty knew the key to the little black tin box was tucked behind the books on the second shelf of the bookcase. So one day when Mother left before 8 o'clock in the morning to go to town when Daddy went to the office, Patty sneaked into the living room and got the key. Then she went upstairs to the closet, climbed on a chair, and took down the black tin box. "You ought not to do this, Patty," said a small voice inside. But Patty didn't listen to the voice. She put the little key in and opened the black box and took out the little rose-colored velvet box with the satin lining. Patty's hands were chubby, so the ring just fit on her middle finger. Oh, but it did look pretty. Patty put the tin box back on the shelf and the key was tucked back of the books again. Patty made her bed. All the time she was admiring the pretty ring. Then she fed the chickens as Mother had told her to do. While she was feeding the chickens, Marilyn called for her to go to school. Patty raced into the house, put on her coat and scarf, and was off with Marilyn. They had gone a block or so when Patty remembered that she had on her beautiful ring from her great-grandmother. Up to that time she'd felt like a little girl on her way to school, but just the thought of the ring on her finger made her feel like a princess. She looked sort of haughty and proud as she held out her hand for Marilyn to see her beautiful treasure, saying, "Here's the ring, Patty stopped in the middle of her sentence. She had looked down at the ring as she started to talk about it, and the ring was there, but there was no diamond in it. She was wearing only the gold setting, which looked empty and ugly without the pretty stone in it. "Oh, I've lost the diamond! I've lost the diamond! Mother will be angry! She'll spank me! I know she will!" "Doesn't your mother know you have it?" asked Marilyn. "No, I took it out of the tin box after she went away this morning," sobbed Patty. "I was going to put it back before she got home tonight." "Don't tell your mother. I wouldn't," said Marilyn. "I ought to tell Mother. I tell her everything," said Patty. But a mean, small voice that she knew was the tempter's voice said, "Your mother hardly ever looks in the box with the ring unless you ask to see it. Don't tell her. She won't find out it's lost for a long time." All the time Marilyn was saying, "I wouldn't tell if I were you. It'll be a secret between you and me. I won't tell anybody." "But this is the thing that Mother likes better than anything else. Maybe I won't tell her just now." Oh, what a lot of heartaches Patty would have saved herself and others if she had confessed her wrong that very night to Mother. After losing the diamond, Patty wasn't the happy little girl she had been. Oh, she would forget about it for some time, and then Daddy would mention an insurance policy that was in the black box. Patty would get almost sick thinking, "He'll get the black tin box out and Mom and Daddy will find out that I lost the diamond." Then Cousin Martha stopped in to see the Bangle family on her way to Canada. Patty heard Mother and Cousin Martha talk about the ring. She was so afraid Cousin Martha was going to ask to see it, but she didn't. Patty did hear Cousin Martha make the remark, "In a way, the ring should have been mine, since my mother was the oldest daughter." Every night in bed, Patty prayed, "Oh, Jesus, help me find the diamond." She had looked in every corner in the house. She had looked in the yard. She walked with her head down, thinking she might see it on the street. Patty hadn't known before this how unhappy a girl can be when there is a dark, secret something between a little girl and her mother. She even got to thinking that Mother would be so angry if she found out the diamond was lost that she would be mad at Patty forever and ever. She didn't think her mother would ever forgive her. Poor, dear, foolish Patty. There was nothing Mother Bangle would not forgive, if Patty only had told the whole story. One sad, bad thought brings on another. Because Patty was so sad, she even got to imagining that Mother Bangle loved Billy more than she did her. This was foolish too, for Mother Bangle loved each one of her children. They were all different, so she showed her love a bit differently, just as your mother does. But she didn't love one more than another, any more than your mother loves one of you more than another. It was that dark secret that wasn't nice that made Patty so unhappy. Sometimes a pleading, sweet voice said, "Patty, tell your mother. Patty, tell your mother that you took the ring and lost the diamond and that you're sorry." But she never would do it. Weeks went by. One day the Bangles had a letter from Cousin Martha saying she was stopping off to see them again on her way home from Canada. Patty could hardly believe she heard right, and yet she knew Mother said to Daddy, when she thought the children weren't listening, "You wouldn't think she'd have nerve enough to come this way after what she did the last time she was here." Mother's voice sounded sad. Oh, how Patty prayed that Cousin Martha would not be able to visit them. She remembered hearing Cousin Martha say, "In a way, the ring should have been mine, since my mother was the oldest daughter." Mother decided they'd have a chicken dinner while Cousin Martha was with them, so she picked out a nice fat hen. She chopped the head off and took it into the kitchen to get it ready to cook. Patty was leaning against the kitchen table, watching Mother cut off the legs and wings. She made a face when Mother put her hand inside the chicken and took out its insides. Somehow the crop burst open, and there was undigested corn which the chicken had eaten just that morning. My," said Mother Bangle. "Chickens certainly aren't fussy what they eat. Just look, Patty. This chicken ate a piece of glass." "Why, it's not glass. It looks like a diamond." "Maybe it's great-grandmother's diamond!" exclaimed Patty. "What do you mean, Patty? Great-grandmother's diamond? I guess Cousin Martha has that," said Mother Bangle in a rather sharp voice. "No, she hasn't, Mother." So between sobs, Patty told how she had taken the ring to show Joan and the other girls, how she had fed the chickens and lost the diamond. "You're not mad at me, are you, Mom?" she pleaded. "Patty, I think I'm more angry at myself than I am at you. I missed the ring after Cousin Martha visited us last time, and I thought she had taken it." "But you wouldn't have thought that, Mom, if I had told you right away." "No, it would have saved a great deal of heartache if you had confessed right away, Patty," answered Mother Bangle. "But God did answer my prayer. Every night I prayed that we'd find the diamond, and we did. Anyway, the chicken did," said Patty. "Every time we look at great-grandmother's diamond after this, I'll remember that it's not right to accuse people of things without knowing all the facts. And you'll remember that it's always better to be honest and confess a wrong as soon after it's done as is possible," said Mother Bangle. "I feel like apologizing to this chicken instead of just eating it," remarked Mother Bangle as she put it into the oven. "Eating the bird that found our diamond for us doesn't seem right." It might not have seemed quite right, but the drumstick Patty ate that noon tasted better than any food she had eaten for a long time. Patty and her mother had such a beautiful secret something between them now. Patty could look deep into her mother's eyes with no guilty feeling. "Mom's eyes are so pretty," thought Patty to herself. "I don't ever want to say or do anything again that will keep me from looking right into her eyes." Don't forget to listen to Chapter 6. Bye!